You know the trouble with me doing an intro?
What's that?
I won't forget who you are. I'm going to forget who I am because I'm that old now.
Oh.
I'm just going to go, wait a minute. Am I supposed to be in a home? I
Stop.
think so. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you are here. I'm actually going to get a little emotional and tell you how grateful I am to you. You came into our lives at one of the most difficult times of our lives that still, boy, when you make the therapist cry and you haven't even said anything yet, that's intense. Jonathan Franklin, you are my first guest for our second season of Be Crazy Well. We didn't want to do this again until we had you. That's how important you are to us and to sharing you with the rest of the world. And I need you to know that from the bottom of my heart. I know I'm always a wise ass. I know I'm always making fun. And right now I'm being serious. Jonathan Franklin, you are by far, I will be lying on my deathbed and I will be thinking of you and thanking you. So I want you to know that. That just means you are crazy well. That's what it basically means.
That's
You are
amazing.
crazy well,
Wow.
okay? Because that's what this is all about. So bless you. Now I have to tell everybody about you just a little bit. And I was, reading about, but I didn't have to read a lot about you. I had to read a little bit about you. So I'm going to kind of just do the high points. You are the glue and the disruptor and the healer of your family. You are that. And for your community. And that's a lot to put on someone. But that's what you are, and you still are. And you lost something you wanted to do very badly, only so that we could all have you. See, if you were only running down the football field really fast, so fast that you had more rushing, you still have the record for how many yards rushing at UCLA. You still have that. Has not been broken. So anybody out there that thinks they're going to break it, you better start running now. And you are going to be this unbelievable football star. And you got hurt. And all I can say from the bottom of my heart is, I'm so sorry and I'm so grateful. Jonathan Franklin, tell us what you do, who you work for, what you do. Oh, wait, I have a way to tell everybody what you do and what you work for. So just stay there for a second. All right, let me just, oh, jeez, let me just try to get out of here. Okay, close your eyes, Jonathan.
Okay.
Close your eyes. All right.
I don't know if to be excited or nervous
Yeah,
or
you should always be nervous.
everything.
You should always be nervous, but keep your eyes closed.
Uh-oh.
All right. Hang on. So keep your eyes closed.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Okay, Tommy, can they still hear me if I talk loud?
Yeah.
All right, so let me just
Uh-oh.
sit down here for a second. Okay, now open your eyes.
I
Oh,
love
wait,
it.
There's more.
Okay.
All
I
right.
like, hey,
I got my
official
name
member.
on the back
Official.
Official.
I like it. It looked like you got some plays in you too.
Oh, I got some plays
Hey.
too. So I'll just say one more thing. I played on a girls' we called them powder puff teams in high school. And believe it or not, as little as I was 30 pounds heavier then and 2 inches taller, and I was fullback. And there's a picture of me on the front page of the Beverly Times in Beverly, Massachusetts, stiff-arming some girl carrying the ball.
Oh, we got to pull that. We
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah, we'll
gotta
do
add
that. We'll
yeah.
So I do want you to know that. And I can still throw a good spiral.
I'm not doubting you at all, at all. But thanks so much for everything you shared. That was powerful. That was deep. I'm very grateful to be here. So much love for your family. So honored to be here today. But yeah, Jonathan Franklin, Senior Director of Social Justice and Football Development for the Los Angeles Rams. LA native, headed into my 10th season with the Rams. I can't believe it. But to give back to a city that has given me so much, I'm grateful. Like, to your point, it's the worst moment has absolutely been a blessing in disguise for me. So I'm excited to talk through the journey, have a good time with you, but Thanks for having me.
Well, I didn't get to see enough of you. My daughter stole you, kept you to herself. And Logan, tell everybody how you met us. Instead of me telling them, you tell us from your perspective how you met us.
Yeah, and Logan's a special kid. I can't believe he's 20 years old now. But when I was playing football at UCLA, we had opportunities to give back, to the community. It wasn't anything that was necessarily mandated or required. I think I did a visit once and just fell in love at the Mattel Hospital over at UCLA.
So you went to visit kids in the cancer ward of the Children's of Mattel.
Yeah.
It's UCLA, right?
Yes.
Right. And then there's a place called the Mattel ward, whatever it is,
absolutely.
where Logan spent
they have
a lot of time.
The pediatric cancer patients.
That's it, pediatric.
Yeah, and I remember, one of my teammates, Librato Barosio, I'll never forget. He's coaching at UCLA now. We had some time on our hands. I think it was like a Tuesday night, probably. We went to go visit, and we were making our kind of visits through different rooms, and I walked into this special room and met Kirsha and Logan, and it was incredible to sit down and have a conversation, and what I thought was just going to be a visit and a young man. We've been able to, stay in touch and visit him occasionally every time when I went back to the hospital, and here we are now, right?
That's right.
On the podcast. So it was just so funny.
How old was he? Do you remember roughly how old he was? We should ask Kirsha.
We have to ask her.
We should ask her. Kirsha!
Probably like 10,
come in here.
15 years
Kirsha,
ago.
how old was Logan when Jonathan came in the room?
Oh, goodness.
That's my
Probably
daughter.
8.
Wow.
8 or 10.
Oh,
maybe
my
10.
gosh.
No, not 10. Like 9.
Like 9. So he was 9, she said.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm getting old.
Imagine that, right? So that's 11 years.
It's powerful. And look at the jersey, right?
I know.
Yeah, that's how ironic.
So I got this from the LA Rams for the nonprofit that I work with called Merging Vets and Players, which you know about.
Yes.
And we're grateful for, and the Rams have been so supportive of our nonprofit. So we latch on to you. You bring something to Logan and to Kirsha. So when the world keeps you isolated, when people like you walk in that room, you bring so much hope and faith and caring, and it gives the kids an opportunity to go, well, wait a minute, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can. And Logan ended up playing football for a season. I only think of one season in high school. And so I just want you to know that then. And he loved it, and he just thought it was great. And we always talk about you. So here you are. But wait, you were playing yourself. What happened? Like, you were supposed to be playing. You went from UCLA, the record for all the rushing, right, yardage, and then you go to college. Where do you go? Well, you're at UCLA, so that's your college. Then what happened?
Yeah, I'll tell you the journey. And as much as you said in regards to the relationship with Logan, he gave me so much. I'm grateful to have the platform at that time to give, but to be in the room and to have inspiration, right, and to carry his story with me and the motivation I needed to keep going, and even just be grateful, right, for the circumstances that I was given. It was a perspective that I needed, so we were able to walk away with two different things, right, and both being inspired. But yeah, I got to UCLA, LA native, came out of Dorsey High School, and my dream was the NFL, and everything that I did was aligned with that vision. I got to make it to the league, so was blessed to leave UCLA breaking 4 records, holding, all of them today.
4 records. 4.
One being UCLA's all-time leading rusher, and rather than working on my resume and applying for jobs, I started training for the NFL. So was blessed to go to the Combine, the Senior Bowl, and was drafted by the Green Bay Packers. And for me as a young kid, like, hey, this is it. I was drafted. This is my moment. And yeah,
tell the story about when they called you.
It was incredible. And I remember it was a Saturday. I was drafted in the 4th round. And it was just my family and I, and I remember I got the call, and it was Mark Murphy, Ted Thompson, general manager at the time, and it was a dream come true. Just tears start running to my eyes. I remember my niece ran up to me. She gave me a hug. And it was a special moment because, growing up in the inner city of LA, you talk about dreams, but dreams isn't always a reality for many people. And I know growing up, I used to have conversations with, my friends in the neighborhood or teammates about who we wanted to be or what we wanted to do. And some of them, aren't alive here today, still today. Some of them made some tough decisions and led to some consequences. So to have that opportunity to receive that phone call wasn't just a personal accomplishment, but it meant so much because it gave hope for people that came from the same community that I came from, that looked like me, that faced the challenges I did. But anyone who had a dream, like, hey, you can achieve it regardless of your circumstances and your background. So it was a powerful moment, for my family as well to see, I guess their hero, right? Kind of grow up.
Well, it's this, again, you kept them together. There was one thing they could all agree upon, which was you playing football. Am I right?
Yeah.
And those children are so important in the family.
Mm-hmm.
They really are, that they figure out, wow, if I keep, you actually said that once, you said, if I keep playing football, they'll keep getting along.
Yeah, it was interesting. So I started playing football. I was in the 5th grade. And I remember prior to playing football, my grandfather, he was the rock to the family. And when he passed away, it was just kind of disrupted. It was a lot of just complications and tension. And the family, we used to get together every holiday, every other weekend, and we stopped that. So I remember my mom and stepdad was like, hey, we're going to sign you up for some football. So I was like, all right, whatever. And I recall, going to practice, and I remember the day before I had a dream, and my grandfather was in that dream. And we were at his house, and he walked over to me. This was after he passed away, and he was like, I'm still here. And I was like, what's going on? Oh. So I recall the next day is practice, and they were just throwing out jerseys, right? And they threw out a jersey to me. I caught it. It was 62, and my grandfather passed away at the age of 62. So for me, I'm like, wow, what is this connection? Whoa. And then to see as games go on, my family members, my cousins, we start playing together. Our family is coming out and cheering us on the game, and the unity that it created, the hope. Like, man, we're family again through the game of football. It was awesome. It was incredible. And I think for me at that time, that's when I started to see, like, football goes beyond just a sport, just a game, but it's really just creating unity and breaking some tension amongst the family.
It's also telling you that you have the ability to help people change.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk a lot about choices, and that's I always say to people as a therapist, you have thoughts, feelings, and actions.
True.
I don't give a crap about your thoughts. I don't care about your feelings. I care what you do, because what you do is what will create you.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate that you say that. So you were chosen in the 4th round to go to a very cold place. My bad.
Indeed. Indeed.
Right. And so you have to go all the way up there and start playing. And what happened?
Well, first I changed my wardrobe, right? Completely. Right. But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, playing for the Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field. And as I mentioned, I'm thinking I'm going to play for years to come. You have these, these thoughts, these scenarios, all these plays. You're going to be a Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer. And I remember week 12, we're playing the Minnesota Vikings, Lambeau Field. I'm back at kick return, first play of the game, first quarter. And I remember the ball is kicked. I'm excied to set off the tone.
So you're 12 weeks into your first
season. Yeah, rookie year, week 12, playing for playoffs here, 2013. So the ball is kicked. I'm excited. All these thoughts like, hey, I'm about to set the tone. And I catch it. I run to the 5, to the 10, and I get hit on the crown of my helmet and fumble. The ball comes out. I'm like, oh, my gosh. I just fumbled the ball. I need to pick it up. And as I attempted to move to pick up the ball, I realized I was completely paralyzed from my neck down. I couldn't move an inch. So I'm laying on the ground thinking, what's going on? What happened? And after a few moments go by, I get a tingly feeling from my fingers, from my shoulders, and I'm slowly able to get up. I had the doctor sent me into the locker room. So I'm walking to the locker room. I take a look back on Lambeau Field, but little did I know that'll be my last time ever playing the game of football. I was forced to medically retire due to a spinal contusion. Ultimately, after visiting a few doctors, they said if I got hit the wrong way again, I'll be paralyzed for the rest of my life. So to your point, like going to this achieving this dream, right? Being drafted and having something that I worked toward for 12, 15 years kind of taken away in 30 seconds. absolutely was a crushing moment for me.
You know, I'm sitting here and thinking about the moment when the doctor came out and said leukemia to Kirsha. I wasn't there the first time she heard it. I was on my way. And you're right, those moments just, your whole life is different in 30 seconds, like you said. And yet you didn't know that until that doctor said that to you. So someone had to come and tell you, you were done. You couldn't do that. Now, did you think for a second you might continue and take that risk? Did that ever occur to you?
You know, it's really interesting because immediately I didn't know, right? I had to medically retire. Once the game ended, I was just going to sit out the next game, and it was a concussion, but I was still moving around. I was okay. Ultimately, after getting an MRI, we found a spot on my, within my C1 zone. It was the contusion. It's like, hey, we're just going to put you on injury reserve and just going to sit down the rest of the season, but I'm still on the team. So the season ends, but I go back to LA training, preparing for my second season.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Getting in the best shape of my life because the rulings haven't came out that I can't play again. It's just like, hey, let's just be careful and observe if it goes away.
Right.
So I go home, I train in the best shape of my life. I come back and remember I go visit a doctor in New York, and that's when I first heard I'm never going to play again. And I'm like, man, whatever. I'm going to be okay. Visit a doctor in Chicago, California, and there's the consistent message that we can't clear you because of the risk. And then I remember it was the last day of OTAs, and the doctors called me in. It was like, hey, you have to make a decision to medically retire because of, the consequences. And yeah, it was crushing, because I think.
How did you handle it? What did you do?
Yeah.
Because now, remember, it's not just you. Think of the weight of this family that is cheering you on. It's the greatest thing, your grandfather. I mean, what you just told us. You're holding so much for so many people.
Yeah,
your entire community.
Absolutely. I think there's different layers to it. I'm going to just go a little deep there as I talk about it. I think one, it was overcoming just the pain and regret. I think it was the emotional responsibility that I took and mental that I have to be this hero. I have to be the one where things work out through. And I think initially the pain of regret because I remember when I was playing my rookie year, I got in the game versus the Bengals, and I was doing well. I ended up running for 100 yards, scoring a touchdown, but I fumbled at the end, and ultimately we lost that game. The following game, I fumbled as well, so I was benched. So this game, week 12, was my first game back, and to be injured and forced to retire and to have to wrestle with that reality of this moment and accepting how I performed and being okay with that and moving on from that. I think emotionally you have to wrestle with it, and come to terms and find the peace that, okay, I have to move on and trust that everything that did happen happened for a reason. And I think it was a lot of sleepless nights. It was a lot of tears. It was a lot of moments where I didn't want to talk, or I turned to other things to give me distraction, peace, to give me comfort. If it was partying, if it was drinking, if it was a list of things like, hey, I gotta find some sense of happiness and joy of belonging. And I wasn't ever able to find these things. And I was just trying to escape this reality of pain and suffering that I didn't want to accept ultimately. So it was a tough thing for sure. I think even being able to share with my family, finding confidence, because throughout my life from 10 years old to 23, everything was football. The decisions that I made was to perform on the field. The happiness, the confidence that I got was the compliments from everybody else. So when you strip away all these things, who is this man in the mirror when the narrative of who I have been was built from football? So it took maybe a year and a half, honestly, to really come to terms with, okay, I have to find the strength to walk away, to accept, to not replay these scenarios of living in the moments of regretting why I make this decision and that decision, or being angry, or questioning my faith, or not believing that I'm good enough anymore, or finding the strength to dream again without the fear of failing all over. Like, it was a whole process of so many thoughts and questions, and even allowing people to see me as, at that time, a broken man.
Yeah.
You know, you grow up in life, and we see it all the time, even on social media today. We see the highlights of people's lives. We don't necessarily see the struggles or the challenges, but to find the courage to let people see me that, like, hey, I don't have it all together. I'm sad. I'm afraid. I'm fearful. I don't know how to dream again. Press the reset button. It was a journey and a process for sure. So I think that was all the layers of like what I had to go through and had to figure it out and wrestle with. It was hard. It was so hard. Yeah, to answer your question.
So I love how you do this. So you have a year and a half, and you may have been creeping towards some healing, and you're trying lots of things and getting there. What was the moment that you said, okay, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Finish that sentence. Okay, wait a minute. What happened?
Yeah, like what the turn, the change. Yeah. I remember I was at the University of Notre Dame working. I ended up, so when I got done with the Packers, ultimately, my marketing agent, we had a conversation of, hey, what's next? Gave me some advice to reach out to the Packers. So very grateful for Mark Murphy at the Packers and the team there. They created a rotational internship for me. And it was still tough because I was...
So you're there and you're not there.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
right?
Which I'm very grateful. I mean, it was an incredible experience and exposure, but the mental, emotional side of wrestling and working through, I'm parking in a different parking lot. I'm going to the game days, working. I'm in the locker room, but not as a player. So there's a lot of triggers there, you know?
Right, that's
but yet, like, I have to figure out how to transition, you know? So I have to take these steps in the midst of the pain that I may be feeling internally.
So you're in a parallel path of having your pain and still having to do something while you're going through
Absolutely,
that pain.
Yeah. And I remember, I ended up receiving an opportunity to work at the University of Notre Dame. And I recall my boss at the time, he was like, hey, can we meet, on this particular day? And he just asked the question, what's going on? And I just shared, like, hey, this is just where I'm at. And he made me aware of just benefits to the NFL and, like, tapping into the resources to go speak with a therapist. And I think that moment in my first session to really sit down and just share, hey, this is what's going on. This is where I'm at. I realized just the power of vulnerability. I realized that I didn't have to suppress the pain, the emotions. I didn't have to live up to these unrealistic expectations based off these scenarios that I'm playing in my mind, that I have to be this person that my family is expecting that they never was. So I think first, just to start talking about it was like helpful, because it's like, I can get through this.
Yeah. Talking about it with someone who's not judging it either, or expecting anything. Someone said, just gave you the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was helpful. So it started there. And I think then just even more start letting my friends in and my family in, like, hey, like, this is just where I'm at. And not this is just where I'm at, like, this is what I need. I need the support to check in, to call.
So as you're doing that, you're also learning some new things in this internship.
Yes.
Too. So talk about a battle. Like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go do that. And yet you go do that. What were some of the things you were doing, forced to do, if I might add, because you have to do something. What were some of the ones that you recognized were really helping, even when you didn't want to? I'm a big believer that you do things even when you don't want to.
Yeah, in regards to the internship?
Yeah, and so the healing. So on the one hand, you've got all this sadness and all this stuff. On the other hand, people are expecting you to show up for this internship.
Yeah.
What were some of the things you did?
I think what that internship did was create a new pathway to rebuild again. For me, I played football all these years, and it came crushing down, and now it's like, who am I? What am I? And I think what this internship did was put me in a position, I think, one, to disconnect that I how can I put this? I think for so long, football was my identity,
Right.
right? And when I got this internship, I had to learn to create a healthy separation with work, or a healthy separation with other things, that it didn't dictate my identity, that I have to figure out who I was, regardless of what was going on the job. Because I had to wrestle with some emotions that I was.
Say that again. You had to figure out who you are separate from your job. You are not what you do.
Correct.
That you have an identity and a value, even if you're just breathing.
Yeah, but and it's a hard thing.
It's hard.
Right?
I
Because
still
our whole
struggle with that.
lives,
Yeah.
from school, like there's these
Yeah.
narratives of who we are based off grades. You apply to this, you get declined there. So the world paints this narrative of how we view ourselves.
That's right.
And we play that perspective in our mind, and we believe that, and we find things to validate what other people said about us.
That's right.
And for the first time in my life, I'm like, wow, I get to create the narrative of Jonathan.
I
And-
get to create the narrative of Jonathan. That word create is everything to me. That's what I say to people. Create the person you deserve to be and the life you deserve
Yeah.
to live. Don't find it. The only thing you should be looking for in life is your keys and your phone. That's it. You're going to lose both of those every
Yeah.
day. You have to create it.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I was grateful, and I think my faith absolutely played a huge component in it.
Power greater than yourself.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful to really be able to wrestle with my faith too during that time, and accept just the sovereignty of God, and what God allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Although at the moment I didn't understand, or I questioned it, I was angry, I was frustrated. But I have to apply the faith that I always spoke about my whole life, and
Boy,
put it
that's
into
hard.
action.
It's easy to talk about faith.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to do it.
Yeah. So I think, the internship definitely allowed me to create this healthy separation, but learn so much, on the business side of the game, and develop skills. It was a healthy distraction as well. And I'm grateful for it, right? Because it created a platform that led me ultimately, I believe, to be with the Rams now. And
Tell me that. I want to hear that story. So you're up there in the cold,
Yeah.
still internship, doing all of this. Then what happened?
yeah, so I'm at the Packers, so grateful for them. And then I remember during the time someone advised me to create a LinkedIn. It's like, I didn't know what it was at the time. I was young, playing the game. I think it was just, we were starting probably, who knows. But I did. It's like, all right, I'll do it. Created LinkedIn, and I recall the senior athletic director at the time from Notre Dame, Mike Harity, sent me a message. I guess he read an article and wanted to jump on a call, and we talked, right? And he wanted to learn more about who I was, and went out to South Bend, Indiana, and sat down with him, and just to learn more about, his role, or the role that he was potentially pitching to me. And I sat down with Mark Murphy at the Packers, like, hey, what do you think? And he advised me, like, hey, you should take this step. So I left the Packers, went to the University of Notre Dame, and then I recall I'm there for a year and receive an opportunity to come back home to the LA Rams in 2016. So I come out, I sit down with a few folks for the Rams, and I took the leap of faith to come back home. So now going on my 10th season, it's been an incredible journey for sure, and I think time and time again, as I look back, the worst moment has absolutely been the biggest blessing, because it allowed me to discover a version of me that I absolutely never knew, to have the friendships and the relationships that I have, the impact, the family that I have today. I have an 11-month-old, my incredible wife, like football is football being taken away, although I'm not going to say I wouldn't have loved to continue to play. It would have been incredible. But the man I am now, I believe, is greater than the man that did play. And it was because of those moments of just uncomfort, right? And discovering myself and sitting in the discomfort, and being okay with that, and just learning about myself. So, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I'm thankful. And It's been good.
Your title. Say your title, because you know me. I love your title.
that's funny.
I always love your title.
Yeah, so Senior Director of Social Justice and Football Development.
So I want to thank the Rams. First of all, I am from Boston, so don't expect me to go all out all the time.
I expect that.
That's right. And I live here now, and I've lived here for 30 years. That idea that justice deserves to be a part of our lives. Social justice. We talk about social media. I'm all good with social media. I'm not one of those people that keep, criticizing it all the time. And I'm also never want to give up that idea of social justice. And I want to say how much I respect the Rams, because a lot of people wouldn't put that in your title. And I think it shows the kind of value that a professional sports team can have for the community they live in. The Rams live here, and many of the players are now living here. And all the fans pretty much live here, except some of those that had to leave. Talk to me about what that job title means to you and what it is that you do and have been doing for these last 10 years.
Yeah, so I think in simple terms, when you think about social justice, it's about access and opportunity, right?
Say that again.
Access and opportunity.
That's it.
Right?
That's what
I
it
think
is.
the
It's
heart
just
of it,
access,
right?
open the door, don't leave anybody out, access and opportunity. Love it.
Yeah,
Keep going.
and just the root of what we believe in when it comes to that is just education and equities, right? We see the root of just so many challenges.
Yeah.
Starts with education, and how can we make sure that every student, regardless of the zip code, has adequate resources? That's it. How can we provide pathways where students believe that success isn't just entertainment and sports, but it's many different fields, right?
Yeah,
and when you think about STEAM. So I think we want to just level the playing field across the board, but also we want to be great community partners. When the Rams returned in 2016, Molly Higgins, who leads our department, her approach was really just going on listening tours, right? Rather than bringing all the community programs from St. Louis to Los Angeles, let's just learn and understand what is the need of LA. And based off the needs, that's how we develop our strategies, because we want to be an incredible community partner to all. So we listen, learn, and we respond,
Oh, wait. Say that again. You listen.
Yeah.
You learn and you respond.
respond.
What if we actually did that in our families? Hello. What if we actually did that in our love relationships?
Yeah,
We listen, we learn, and we respond. We don't react. We respond. And instead of you wanting to give, so the Rams are not coming and saying, this is what we're going to give you. I had a couple of boyfriends that gave me things. I didn't like them because they didn't listen, they didn't learn, and they didn't respond to my needs of what I needed.
Yeah.
And so I love when you're talking about this idea of change and impact in a community. It's listen to the community. They will tell you what they need.
Definitely.
They will tell you.
100%.
And it's so counterproductive and not helpful when people go in and think, oh, this is what we're going to give you. This is what we're going to do. And I think it's actually demoralizing, and I think it's disrespectful. That's just how I feel. So thank you again for that. So tell me some of the moments in this 10-year job and passion and purpose, much more than a job, that has changed you even more. What are you going to remember? I said to you, I'll be lying on my deathbed remembering you. What are you going to be remembering as you become an older man?
Wow. That's
important for you to know what you've done and what you've helped do.
Yeah, for me, what I appreciate is just the power of sports. It unites so many different people.
So uniting, okay.
Right.
That's what you did for your family, by the way. See how good I am at this?
Yeah, but it's so many people within the organization. But even when you think about game days, right, it's people coming together from all different backgrounds, ethnicities, orientations, age, gender, and they're all celebrating together, right? Or they're conversing and building relationships, and it's because of the sport. It breaks barriers, it unites many different people, it builds relationships, it gives people hope, And I think what I get excited about in my role is just using this vehicle, football, to inspire change, and challenge status quos where needed. I love the game, and the impact that it can have on so many different people, and that it goes beyond just the X's and the O's on the field. We really get to create some change and give communities hope and create pathways for everyone, right? To hopefully, just reach their dreams, or if anything, be the best version of themselves. And to do that through football, it's something I love to do every day.
How do you interact with the players, and so you have your own little place, your nook, your niche in the thing, in the company, in the organization. How do they interact with you? What are you able to help them do? Because you're now not a rookie. You were a rookie. Rookies are coming in all the time, and then there's seasoned players. How did they see your role, and how do they interact with you and what you're doing?
Yeah, so we have an incredible team that's dedicated with our players, who are with them 24/7, or as much as they need to be, and that understands their passion points. I think we have an opportunity when it comes to the community piece. Like, how can we support? How can we add value? How can we amplify? How can we make sure that what they do is what they're passionate about, rather than just going out in the community just to make an appearance, but let's really help create some change and get you excited about it, So I know a couple of weeks ago we had an opportunity to present to our rookie team, our new rookies, just what our priorities are when it comes to community outreach, what our upcoming opportunities, So that's always exciting, because they have such an incredible platform to create change, to give back, to show up, to just learn what are they passionate about outside of football, and to have those moments whenever I do to be able to interact and have conversation. It's always great.
It's interesting. You know that I've worked with a lot of football players, some amazing, amazing young men that I'm so grateful, and they've taught me so much. And I continue to work with them. And one of the things that we know is that the mental health of all professional sports people it's always at risk. You happen to have a crisis that could have brought you to your knees for a very, very long time. And even when anybody transitions or leaves something, oftentimes the childhood trauma comes back. So you come from a place, you go into that game, you start to play the game, you have some success, and it doesn't always translate to changing and helping you deal with everything that's happened to you before that. That's true for combat veterans as well. So going back into what we would call a civilian life as opposed to a pro football player is hard for many. And many of them, there's some statistics that something like within 5 years, too many professional players don't have any more money and do not have great mental health and they were not able to make that transition. So even though you're not in that department per se, you are already, I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but you are opening them up to the idea that they've got to keep that connection with that community, that they're going back to that community or some community, whether or not if they go back to home to where they grew up. Can you speak to what you see happening and how everything affects everything, and that this organization understands that? So you're not just helping the community, you're helping the players understand more about themselves.
Yeah, we're a Ramley, right? We so many times we talk, we not me.
Did you say Ramley?
Yeah. we say it all the time, we not me, and social justice is in our DNA, and I know there's even a project coming up in June where our entire organization, right, will be out, and usually we have staff day of services where once a month staff is going out and doing a community service project, right? So we want to be as authentic as we can and create change, and always give our players that opportunity to do the same, because they're heroes in so many different people's eyes, and they get it. They understand that. They embrace that responsibility. So the main thing is to bring more Super Bowls to LA, right? What's their focus on first, but every opportunity that they get, they're out in the community or finding ways to give back or use their voice, because they understand the power of the game, the platform that they have, and we're all committed to truly changing LA and making it a better place for everyone.
And we now know in terms of mental health that you can have a lot of money and a lot of success and be very, very troubled and lonely,
Yeah.
and the demons can come back at any time, and that won't necessarily and almost never takes care of all the things that we struggle with internally. So every time those players are out in the community, you're giving them that opportunity to go back and remember
Yeah.
we're all in this together, we're all connected, and that they do have a purpose that is as great, if not greater, because that's what you discovered off the field as well as on the field.
Yeah, I mean, mental health is important. We have an incredible team psychologist who's available, right, and checking in, and we have an awesome department that has programming, right, dedicated to our players when it comes to the resources available, preparing for life after football. They're aware of the statistics in regards to the average, right,
Yeah.
career, right, of a player. So all this information is shared with the guys, so they're thinking ahead, right, and we want them to begin with the end in mind, so have a successful life even after the game is over. So there's incredible resources that the NFL does offer, and I know the NFL has learned
Right.
with some situations of the past, which I'm appreciative of. So I think the NFL where it's at today is in a greater place than it's probably ever been in regards to the resources, the access, the stories of some unfortunate decisions that players have made in the past. So we can be better as a league overall.
Yeah.
And support the current players that we have on our team.
And I just want you to know, and you don't know this because we haven't talked about this per se, I've had the opportunity to work with the NFL and many of those after the sport resources. And that's been great.
Yeah.
I can only tell you that it's been a real pleasure to work with people that are dedicated to those players once they leave that field for that last time and what that means. And what's so important, I think, Jonathan, is you're headed in a new direction as well. You're studying to be a minister. Is that true?
No, well,
Well, you
nah,
were
nah.
at
Yeah,
one
so
time.
I was in school. So I currently, I lead weekly Bible discussions every Thursday. I preach occasionally on Sundays, but
I would love to hear
it's
that.
just it's just who I am.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll officially go in the full-time ministry or not, but yeah, mainly throughout the week, I'm getting with different people just to kind of check in where they're at in life spiritually, or be a resource.
I think that's great.
It's who I am at the end of the day. Like, for me, where I'm at in my faith, like, if I believe what I believe, how can I not, right?
Yeah.
Do the best I can to preach the word, to share the gospel.
Well, I read that in an
Gary.
article when you were
Yeah,
20,
yeah.
22, and
Yeah.
I went, of course he is.
Right.
So I don't tell everybody this, but I was in the Baptist church,
Okay.
the Northern Baptist Church, and I was voted young woman most like the greatest Baptist missionary. Ann Judson, Adoniram and Ann Judson were two very important missionaries. And at one time I wanted to become a minister. So I just want you to know that. And
Love it.
I don't know how to live and help our health, our wellness, if it's not physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual. And I say financial, meaning all of our resources.
Absolutely.
It just means we live in a place that oftentimes doesn't have a lot of water. So that's a resource that you've got to take care of. Your health, and anything in your life is important to take care of.
Definitely.
And I believe that when an organization like a professional football team understands that what your job does is take this idea of this game, brings it closer to the community, and it puts it in context. It means that those players that we watch and we cheer for and we appreciate also deserve to be healthy physically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and financially. That they're going to have some struggles, that they're going to at some time need the community to help them. So I see you as this link, this bridge. We're building a bridge down here, a wildlife bridge where the wildlife can come across the highway, right? And I think, oh, that's smart. That's really smart. And I think of you that way, that you did that, and you did that for Logan. Now we've gone full circle, that you're not always going to be in this hospital, Logan, that you're going to be out of this hospital. When you're out of this hospital, you deserve to do things with your life and to understand who you want to create and who you want to be. And once you're through this crisis, you can look back and find out, what did you get from this crisis that was more than you ever thought? And that's what you do, Jonathan, every time. And every time you say your title, you give people a moment to pause, say, yeah, what am I doing for social justice for my community? And what am I doing in terms of developing myself and in relationship to this team and this Ramley, which I love that you call this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a joy, I think, being with the Rams 10 seasons now, and being a part of the opportunity, right, to give back. But I mean, LA is a great place to be, right? The city, the community, it's awesome, so how could you not?
So if I said to you, okay, you are this wonderful person in the Rams family, and we'll just say any football team that would, what are some of the things you would love to see happen? What are your goals? What are you, because you're very goal oriented, I know that about you, I know that you think ahead. What are some of the things you hope to accomplish in the next year or two that, and we won't hold you to all of it, but what is it that you want to do? Certainly expanding and offering and sharing your faith and doing that so that you have physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual. I also know your program does some financial literacy and help people with that. What would you love to see? What would you love to start and grow and build for a program or a resource?
Yeah, at the Rams,
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah, at your job right now or in your community.
Yeah, I mean, and we're able to do a lot of great things. I think what we'll just continue doing. I think one, it just starts with education. We have the second largest school district here with LAUSD. We have, Inglewood Unified. I mean, there's so many school districts that just need support, that needs resources, right? Their students, many times when you think about absenteeism, that aren't showing up to school because of the barriers, if it's transportation, their circumstances at home, and it's going to impact them long term.
Right.
There's a lack of resources, available, based off what school district you're a part of or what school you're at. So I think it's really right now the fight for equity, across the board when you think about education. So how can we really help incentivize if it's students, getting to school, or, figure out what those barriers are preventing them? What are the resources needed for them to show up and be their best at school, given some of the traumatic, circumstances within their own respective neighborhoods or in their households? These students they're juggling a lot.
They are.
And the expectation for them to perform, at the level that they are with not the resources needed can be tough. So how can we figure out this pathway forward to truly develop the students, right, and making sure that they all have a equal opportunity and an equitable opportunity to graduate, from middle school, high school, and further their education.
What can people do? So I know there's all these myths and misconceptions about, very large and wealthy organizations, especially sports teams. And there's only so much any one organization can do, and only so much resources they have. And, there are barriers, and there's limits to what any person can do. So having the community help themselves, and having people like myself and others that want to join the Rams. You don't have to be a part of the organization to help make this happen, right? So is there a way for the rest of the community and the rest of my neighborhood, your neighborhood, how do we get more people involved in helping your mission? How do they get in touch with you? What do they do?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I think we're all a part of the mission, of giving back and creating change, because there's many challenges, right? That different that communities face based off just where they're at. I think my encouragement will just kind of learn, right, based off where you're at. What are those current issues, right? And I think based off that, like, just stand up and create that change. And I think just even reflect. I think individually, if we can just kind of reflect on what are the things we're passionate about, what is the change we want to see, and make a plan to build toward that. It will be effective and helpful. Because although we understand the need, I think there's many different opportunities, right? I think it starts with education, but if people can find what their passion points are when it comes to community involvement, and just stand up and be a voice for someone, or just be a support, be a mentor, whatever it might be, I think there's so many opportunities to get involved and create that change in your own respective community.
It can be that small. It doesn't have to be a big program. It doesn't have to be a big donation. It could simply be mentoring one child at a time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One school.
Yeah.
Getting involved. And, it's so funny because as a person who has a daughter and then had a grandson, so I was involved in the school system when my child was in the school system. And then all of a sudden we drop off and we're not in the school system anymore. So I'm not necessarily as active there. And yet there's no reason why I can't be. It's such a wonderful place to meet kids and to meet families and to start something, because you have this wonderful place that everybody's meeting, and you can still be a part of it even if you don't have children in the school system.
Yeah, mentorship is key. I think that's the one thing we can all embrace is just mentorship. I mean, students are learning a lot for the first time, discovering things, in school, once they graduate, and trying to figure out what's next, or what decisions they should make, what they should turn to. So I think if finding ways to mentor or getting involved in your local school could be a game changer, or learning about some of the schools that have the greatest need, and based off the resources that you can offer, how can you support, how can you fight for equity within your learnings. But I think educating yourself is always key in regards to what the need is.
There you go.
Right?
Then you're not a hypocrite.
Yeah, you just
Right,
go educate, right?
yourself,
What
right?
are the greatest needs, right? From the education base, what are the statistics? How can you get involved based off those learnings? And I think that's the great way to go, because you got to find the why.
Yeah.
Why should you? Based off what you learn, and then from there, I mean, that's where the transformation really happens.
Tell me about the new center. I've traveled a lot, and because I've worked with a lot of NFL players, I oftentimes get to see and be in their facilities. Dallas, for one. Dallas is like its own town. It's like it's so huge. Tell me about what's going to happen here in LA with the Rams.
Yeah, so in the next few years, we're in Woodland Hills now, and we're excited to build out a 52-acre facility here.
That's a big.
Yeah.
52 acres is big, especially in LA.
Yeah, I think creating something special in the West Valley region and in the Woodland Hills, as that's our new home now. Something that we can bring the community together, celebrate different events, host events. Hopefully in the future, is something exciting and we're looking forward to. But we're happy to be in the West Valley, and it's been an awesome journey in the Conejo Valley as well. I mean, we love Thousand Oaks and Agora and the great work we were able to do and the partners we were able to develop. But to now be in the West Valley and to build out that footprint and to engage in that community and create and find new partners too, is something we're definitely looking forward to.
I love that. And do you get excited, like when you go back and you think about what you can do there? Is that are you in a situation right now where everybody's excited about, well, we could do this and we could do that? I can't even imagine what that must be like.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, that being our new home. And we've done work in the West Valley, but to now, be staked in the ground there, that's our home, and focus on that area. It's going to be exciting, the things we build, create, and the change we ultimately make in the Valley region.
So, I want to circle back around. You have your own child now.
Yes, I can't believe it.
You have an
Yeah,
11-month-old little
yeah,
girl.
as of yesterday. Yeah,
As of yesterday.
yeah, baby boy.
One more month, it's a little
I
girl. It's a
know.
little a year old. Now that you have your own child, it just occurred to me that what you did for us might actually be even more meaningful to you, because what happens when you have a child and you hear the story or you've experienced a trauma and a tragedy with another child, it hits home closer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my my perspective on life is so different now.
Yeah.
It's my son is my greatest joy.
It's a
Like,
son,
yeah,
not
well, yeah,
daughter.
my
I'm
son.
sorry,
Yeah,
it's
his
a
name's
son.
Levi, and
Levi.
it's a love that I've never experienced in my life. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, you don't know
Whoa,
till
that
I mean,
makes it all. I kept saying little
it's
girl,
yeah,
and
no,
like
yeah,
so
it's
now,
oh, it's so
Logan,
deep. Yeah,
right now,
Mhm.
this is where it
Yeah.
really helps change us. When young people like yourself go out into and have that experience of being with a family that's going through a tragedy, as much as it means a lot to you, it doesn't mean shit like it does now. Now it really means something to you, I would imagine, even more because you have this little boy. Now you get to think, wow, now I know what I would feel right now if I went through what Logan was going through, what Kirsha was going through, and all of us. And that's what makes you so powerful.
Yeah, it's a different perspective. Absolutely.
is.
Now, it, it's definitely just more of a connection,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, we all are walking our different paths. I can't say I necessarily understand someone's situation, but I can relate emotionally as much as I can. Like having a kid, if that were to happen, like
Yeah.
how I would feel, you know,
Yeah.
it's deep now,
It
right?
is
Yeah,
deep
it
now.
is. It's so deep, but
It is.
it does create just a different, connection, a more intimate connection, speaking with families and talking to people.
This has been such. I've been waiting for that. I'm so happy, and like I said, I didn't get enough for you, because Kirsha and Logan were
Yeah.
really the center stage, and they should be, and always should be. And so when we started to do this podcast, and we got to choose who we wanted to spend time with, who we wanted to share with the rest of the world, who we wanted to thank, who we wanted to let know had changed our lives and helped us, you're at the top of the list. That's what we wanted to do. And, we knew we had to do it and get the bugs out. And then we thought, oh, let's not bring them on yet until we get our shit together so we can do epic shit.
Right.
And so I really, really appreciate that you're here. And again, I probably won't be able to say it enough, how much we appreciate you. And what I just want to do is I want to meet that little boy. I want to
Oh, he's the
see that
greatest.
little Jonathan, and I want to thank your partner as well, your wife.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me. It was awesome. You and the family mean so much to me, and excited that I was able to share my story. I know we all are suffering something, right? The layers, the depths of it are different, but we all face those moments like,
That's right.
what now?
That's right.
Or how
What
do I get
now?
through this?
And
Or
what
how
next?
can I? Or what will the other side look like? And so for me, I always get excited to be able to share my story, because a moment of pain, I think, to now have birthed so much joy. I think many times I need to be reminded based off other people's journey that, like, hey, I see you overcoming this, and I need that.
Yeah.
So to share what was a tragedy to now have became a blessing, and the confidence, the joy, the happiness that I'm able to experience, I never thought it was possible, but it is. I think so many times we need reminders that happiness is possible on the other side. So, no, thanks for allowing me to share and be here today.
And I want you to know that I'm working really hard. I'm working with another UCLA alumni, and I'm working with a coach out in the East Coast, an NFL coach, and a bunch of players, and we're putting together a mental health program, just so that it's not always all on the psychologist for all of it, that there's those of us
Yeah.
in the field that can also offer that. And I often say this as I work with combat veterans and professional athletes. Don't tell me you care about combat veterans or athletes, because that's who we serve in our organization, if you don't care about what happened to them before the military in the game, during the military in the game, and after the military in the game. Because that they bring all of that. And if you care about people, you have to care about everything, all of them, and all the aspects of them, not just while they're under your organization.
Right.
That we have to care about it always. So I want to thank you for caring about a community before, during, and after your playtime.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Incredible
Bless
change
you.
you're making.
And you are crazy well. I just want you to know that. You're definitely crazy well. You were crazy well the day we met you. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, be crazy well. Look at this. I'm one of the Rams. I am one of the Ramley. That's what I am. I'm a member of the
Well,
Ramley.
yeah, you're a part of it.
Thanks, Jonathan.